Hello and welcome to Blytheway Business News. For this edition, I'm joined by Nigel Robinson, Chief Executive of Central Asia Metals, or as they're otherwise known by their AIM ticker, CAML. CAML, as you may know, operates two mines, one in Kazakhstan, which is a copper mine where they do solvent extraction, electro-winning in Kazakhstan. And then they've also got the underground mine in North Macedonia, which is a lead zinc mine. The company's just done its fourth quarter and full year results, its operational results. Nigel, before I get to that, I've got to ask you, because it's been in the news for quite a long time now, quite a few days, about the situation in Kazakhstan. I don't want to tempt you into politics because I'm guessing you know as much or as little as we do. But I guess the key issue for viewers and for investors is what's the impact on operations and how are you being affected at Kazakhstan, at Kunrad?
Yeah. Well, good afternoon, good morning to everybody, and Happy New Year to everybody, first of all. And as you rightly say, this is a key point for the business at the moment, and it took many of us by surprise. You know, people within our own team in Kazakhstan, as well as the board and myself as part of the senior management team, clearly. The first thing to say, Tim, of course, is that all the staff are safe, they're all well. It has not affected any of our operations. Indeed, operations have been going each day throughout the period. It has been the festive period. As you know, they have a later Christmas day there. The Orthodox Christmas was Friday the 7th, actually just after the serious troubles on the Wednesday and the Thursday in Almaty, which is the main city about 700 miles south of where we operate, which is Balkhash. So the operations have not been affected in that sense. It's very sad and disappointing what's happened. Many people, I think the number I've read is about 168 have lost their lives, which is a tragedy, obviously, for those families and what have you. And so as a business in the country, all we can really do is monitor the events and understand what's happening, make sure that our operations are safeguarded, our staff are safeguarded, and respond to those events accordingly. And I think we'll see over the coming weeks the fallout from this and try and understand politically what's happening in country. But I think the main thing for our investors at the moment is to say that, you know, operations continue as normal and we are monitoring events. In the area where we operate, which is the middle of the country near Lake Balkhash, as many people know, the city of Balkhash, about 65,000 people. Main business there is a Kazakh mist smelter. There were a few relatively minor and calm protests about what was going on in the country, nothing of the violence seen in Almaty. So relatively calm, a little bit tense. And so as a business, we're just monitoring those events and making sure that everybody in the business is safe and sound and that we can continue operating as normal, really. And we'll see what falls out of it politically in the coming weeks and months, I guess.
Okay, well, thank you. That's very clear and concise update. I'm sure we all just wish the company and its employees the best for their continued safety and the continuing operations for the operation at Kunrad. Let's therefore now go back to the operational update you just given us for Q4, the full year 2021 operations for both Kunrad in Kazakhstan and the Sasa lead zinc project in North Macedonia. Give us a quick overview, Nigel. I mean, let's start in Kazakhstan. What's happening on the ground in terms of production in Q4 and the year just gone?
Yeah, we announced yesterday morning our production update, as you say, Tim. Very good numbers for Kazakhstan. I have to say, we were above our guidance range for the year. We produced 14,041 tons of pure cathode copper into a very positive copper market, as many of the investors and the watchers of this TV program will know. So that was very positive. We had no LTIs, that's incidents, health and safety incidents or injuries that affect the staff. So overall, a very good year. It's interesting, isn't it, with what's happened recently in Kazakhstan? That's history now. I bet that was a very good year for our Kunrad operation in general. Over at Sasa in North Macedonia, again, some challenging situations in terms of some of the ground conditions, and we were marginally below our guidance, I have to say, on zinc and lead. And we produced just over 22,000 tons of zinc in concentrate and just over 27,000 tons of lead in concentrate. Again, as I say, just slightly below guidance. But I think a lot of that justifies this move that we're making. We maybe talk about it later, to cut and fill mining from the current method of mining, which is sub-level caving. So Positive on the production numbers, into a very positive environment for metal prices across the board, really. Commodity prices for all the metals we produce, both copper, zinc and lead, prices were strong throughout the year. And when we announce our full year results on March the 29th of this year, we'll be coming out with more of the financial details associated with that. And we can confidently say that we had a good 2021.
Well, you mentioned there the cut and fill at Sasa. Let's just dig into that a little bit, because I've been reading some of the mining analysts' reports on the cut and fill and the production numbers, which, as you said, are a bit below expectations. And it seems to be there's a number of factors going on here. One is the move to cut and fill, and the other one is your attitude towards enhancing health and safety underground. So just explain to us what that means in a bit more detail.
Okay, in a bit more detail, Tim. I mean, we took the decision as a board in August 2020 to move to cut and fill. So all last year was about firming up on the designs and the costs and getting ready for the installation, effectively, of what's known as the backfill plant and the reticulation and the required infrastructure to move to this cut and fill mining. And where it enhances safety is in the sense that what you're actually doing is you're never, as often as we are now, working under unsupported ground. And the enhanced safety we talk about, I mean, we would like to think we always operate in a safe manner, is that with sublevel caving, you can at times be operating under unsupported ground, which in itself can be inherently slightly dangerous. So we're trying to avoid that. And wherever we've had slight issues this year, we've made sure that those areas, those headings, if you like, have been closed down temporarily, which has affected our production this year. But I think that's the right thing to do, to look after the staff. And as I say, I think it justifies the fact that as we move over the next 2 or 3 years to 100% cut and fill mining, it'll be a safer method of mining from where we currently are in sublevel caving. And I guess the final point, Tim, really is, we're finding this is probably becoming a bigger issue as we go lower down in the ore body. We're down at levels at the moment whereby we are finding high, what they call geotechnical stresses in the ore body. And you do have to, be concerned for the actual falls of ground that you may get, the incidence may increase as you go lower. So I think moving to this method has been justified along those grounds alone, aside from other benefits that we get from in terms of the tailings management aspect and the recovery of metal overall from cut and fill mining, which will be a greater return on the kind of ore mining that we're doing.
Okay, so that's clearly Scott Yellen's influence coming to bear now operationally at Sasa. Let me move you on. Let me move you on from the mining.
Yeah.
Let's talk about money. I think you finished the year in a very robust position. Net cash, I think cash in the bank, nearly 60 million, $59.2 million.
Yeah.
The debt's coming down nicely. Viewers will remember for the first time, you took debt on the balance sheet when you purchased the Sasa mine. So debt's come down to 33 million. I've got to say, as the former finance director, what's your view on the cash situation at CAML?
Well, it's very positive, and we've been helped obviously by a very strong commodity price over the course of the year, and we'll announce our results, as I said before, on March 29th of this year. And they are good numbers because selling into a strong commodity price environment. As you say, the cash we had at the 31st of December 2021 was $59.2 million. And a key factor is the debt, the outstanding money that we owe both to an overdraft facility in Macedonia and our key debt holders, the banks, is $33 million at the year end. So that means we've got a net cash position now of almost $27 million. And that's a big turnaround from when we acquired Sasa just over 4 years ago now, Tim, when we took on close to $200 million of debt to acquire that business. We estimate that early August this current year in 2022 will be completely free of debt. And then it's a question of how does the board wish to allocate the capital and the money that we generate from the business in terms of the dividend returns that we pay. As you know, we're very well known in the marketplace, I like to think, for a strong and healthy dividend back to our shareholders. And that position will be strengthened in the sense that we won't have any debts on the book, provided we define no other assets to acquire in the short term.
Well, you mentioned dividend there, Nigel, and I think, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I guess we're all expecting an announcement about dividend in the coming months. Mm-hmm. So let's just let's just park that for the moment. What can we look for in the next few months, though, coming out of CAML in terms of news flow in the next 2 or 3 months?
I mean, it's a fairly quiet period in some ways, Tim, because we go into what's known as a closed period from the 29th of January, 2 months before the annual results come out. So really, I would expect that to be the main announcement on the 29th of March, what the financial results, all the detail that goes around those financial numbers, which weren't in yesterday's announcement, obviously, and also the dividend, what dividend we're going to pay and how we're going to deal with the debt moving forward. So that will come out later in the year. I think in between that period, anything which is significant in Kazakhstan on the political events and things which might affect us as a business will clearly keep the market informed as and when we become more informed ourselves. But apart from that, I guess it's business as usual. Finalise the results for 2021 and consider the capital allocation issues moving forward in, what we believe is a very strong commodity price environment anyway.
Nigel, thank you for that. Thanks for joining us again, and we hope to see you soon, probably later in March when you do the financials. That was Nigel Robinson, Chief Executive of Central Asia Metals, updating us on the Q4 and full year 2021 operational numbers coming out of Kazakhstan and North Macedonia. That's it from Blytheway Business News for this edition. Thanks for watching.